Perhaps if Coach Guth and I had been talented enough, I would have loved to have gone to the University of Tennessee and played before 108,000 people. It probably would have been the greatest thing in the world every Saturday. But I don't think I would have had near as good a college experience Sunday through Friday as I did at Rhodes. But the reality is that if you're a pretty good student and Nick Saban offers you a full scholarship, I know the center at Alabama very well, Barrett Jones. Fabulous young man, 4.0 student, but I can tell you, I know his family. Anything that you have read about what he has done, it is unbelievable what he has had to do in order to be the student that he is. I mean, they spend so much time in football at Alabama, and he's not surrounded by a bunch of people who want to get their PhDs. Okay? But he's an example of where if you go and commit yourself and you're a Division I athlete, you can be a great student. I think he finished his degree in about 3.5 years, when he was there. If you are a parent and your son or daughter may have an interest in a curriculum like pre-med, engineering, or architecture, when you attend college, when you go visit schools, you really need to ask that question. Now, some people will think this is silly because they're just going, it's probably just in football and basketball where at Tennessee or Notre Dame or Southern Cal they make somebody do this. But if you are a Division I men's or women's golfer, you wake up at 5:30 in the morning, 8 months a year, to lift weights, run, do aerobics, and those type things. We had a young lady transfer to Rhodes from Vanderbilt in 2000. She was a two-time state champion at St. Agnes Academy in Memphis. I don't think her parents asked enough questions because she was interested in pre-med. She goes to Vanderbilt, very tough school. She's staying up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 5:15 to go work out, and then doing golf all afternoon. Well, she had about a 3.0 her freshman year. Her golf suffered, and she then first transferred to the University of Memphis. It was kind of the same routine there. Then she came to Rhodes, and not that they're doing it wrong at Vanderbilt. If I coached golf at Vanderbilt, in order to be competitive, I would probably do the same thing. It's just not how we do it at Rhodes. So she came to Rhodes. She was a 3.9 student for 3 years. She's now a doctor up in Nashville. Okay, so you got to take a look, and especially those really tough curriculums. If you look at rosters in whatever sport you may be interested in, don't look at what a freshman is majoring in. A lot of people intend to go into engineering as a freshman, but then when they get to their sophomore, junior year, they figure out that you're taking 18 hours or 6 classes. It's really hard to keep up and to play a college sport if you're in one of those curriculums. Now again, our situation is just different. We don't spend near as much time in a sport as they do at a Division I school. So on our football team, we have about 80 players, about 20 are pre-med. Okay. Again, a lot of people don't realize that, at a Division I school, whatever sport it is, they schedule your classes for you. You get out of class at 12, you eat lunch, and you do that sport from about 1 to 7 each day. You're not allowed to take any classes after 12 noon, and if you must, it's likely missing activities such as weightlifting, film sessions, etc. will severely affect your opportunity to play. There's lots of missed class time. Again, it's very difficult to be a successful student in pre-med or engineering. Do we have any engineers in here? Sure. Okay. You people know, it is very tough if you miss 8 calculus classes to be caught up in that. And then, as I said, in the off season, you can be involved in early morning workouts, quite a bit. So I'm not saying not do that. As I said, if my son or daughter was of that talent, I probably would have said, I want to give them that opportunity to go play at that level. But depending on what academic area that your son or daughter wants to go into, you really need to take a look at the type of school and what they're doing. Ask those questions. When you go visit, again, don't ask what the freshmen are doing. Okay, find out what those juniors and seniors are doing. What are they doing for their career path as well? Any questions, just up to what I've said now? How many parents in here have a senior, current senior? Okay. All right, juniors? And I'm assuming the rest are sophomore and freshmen. Okay. Well, hopefully if they're kind of in their senior point right now, they've got some schools that they have visited and are considering. I know in our situation, our application deadline at Rhodes is February the 1st, so after February 1, you know, we really can't have a student who would consider Rhodes. Birmingham Southern is a fine school. I think their application deadline is about the 1st of March. But at this point, probably most Division I and Division II schools really kind of have their list solidified in any sport as to, you know, who they are recruiting. Now, if you are a junior, I really encourage you to, if you have an opportunity during spring break or this summer, you know, pick some schools to go visit. Our children who are not athletes, we were looking at Furman, and we were looking at Richmond, and we were looking at Sewanee, and we were looking at Millsaps, but we had our children also look at the University of Tennessee Chattanooga and the University of Tennessee. I think it's very wise that you look at public, big public, small public. You look at big private, small private, because the campus atmosphere on all those schools is just different. Some students come to Rhodes with 1,800 students and they say it's way too small. But you go to Vanderbilt with roughly 10,000 students and they think that's just a great fit. You know, I always remember I had a really good football player coach named Bill Lanson. And Bill went to MUS, which is a really good private school in Memphis. And we tried to recruit him, but his family were really big Oklahoma fans. So he said, no, I'm going to University of Oklahoma. I'm not going to play football. And at least by the way he tells me, he was in a residence hall, a dormitory, which was about 10 stories high. And they had him with like 2 other students from Oklahoma that he just didn't fit in real well with. Well, he actually ended up transferring. He only was at Oklahoma for about 10 days, and even before we started classes on September 1, he transferred. Well, I asked him and his parents when they transferred, I said, he goes, well, I didn't like Oklahoma. I said, well, Bill, I mean, surely you went to visit Oklahoma. And he goes, yeah. He goes, we went out every year for the Oklahoma-Nebraska game. And he goes, you know, I loved it. He goes, it's unbelievable. Well, I mean, who wouldn't love to go to Oklahoma on the day that Oklahoma and Nebraska play? But he never visited there outside of that. Okay, so I really encourage you to go take those visits when you go to school.